Hey, it's Robert, and in this video we are going to take a look at the hashCode method. Notice that when Eclipse created the equals method, it also created the hashCode method for us, and that's because there is a special contract between the equals method and the hashCode methods. And that contract states that equal objects must return equal hashcodes. Now when we run this program, we'll see that now the equals method works just like we intended, because x1 and x2 are indeed equal objects, and so the x1 equals x2 method call actually returns true as intended. So let's go back and take a look at the hashCode method, and first of all talk about exactly what a hashCode is and why it's important. In CSIS 2420, you're going to talk about or learn about several different data structures, and one of those data structures is called a hash table. And a hash table is nothing more than a very large array, and each element is located in the array based on a position, or what we call an index value or a subscript value. Well, the purpose of the hashCode method is to take some value or some sequence of values that are part of the object itself, and then hash those values by applying some mathematical formula to those values and coming up with an integer value that would actually represent the index into this very large array where that object would be stored. And so basically the hashCode takes some value or some set of values that are part of the object itself, and based on those values creates an integer value indicating where the value or the object would be stored in the table. So obviously, if two objects are the same, and the hashCode basically is based on the values of those objects, then the hashCode value that is created should be the same for equal objects, and that's exactly what we intend to do. So, very quickly, take a look at the hashCode method. We first of all create some integer variable called prime and set it to the value 31, which is indeed a prime value. Create a variable called result, set that equal to 1. Create a temp variable called long, and do the same double bits to long thing using the d value of the object. Then we do all this shifting of things around with the temp value, and take the result and multiply that by prime, add I to it, and then return that result. Basically, the reason we use a prime number is because prime numbers, as you know, are divisible only by 1 in themselves. And what we want this hashCode to do is to distribute these objects across the range of values in the array as uniquely and as randomly as possible. So that's why a prime number is used. At any rate, that's the hashCode method. And so what we want to do here is come down here and uncomment these two statements that actually create the hashCode value for the two objects x1 and x2, and actually print what those hashcodes are. And if the objects are the same, then the hashcode value should be the same as well. So let's run the program, see what happens, and voila, we get a hashcode value of a minus whatever this is, and notice that the values are exactly the same. So that's the purpose of the hashcode method.